I told my family about my goals with editing when I first started and they all laughed at me. I want you to imagine that you've just told your family your ambitions and how much you want to make from editing and how you want to take it to the next level, and the people that you held closest to your heart, the people that were supposed to support you, they were the very ones that told you couldn't do it. So this was when I first started editing 3 years ago, and the thing is, I just made like my first $2.50 commission, right? It was on some Fortnite montage, and to me that was huge because imagine you're some kid that sits at home all day, all you do is play Fortnite, and now it was like not only am I playing, but I made a little bit of money from something to do with it. It was such a cool proof of concept for me where damn, like I could make money online, like doing something that I love. And sure, it was $2.50, like looking back at it, if I looked at $2.50 now I'd laugh, but to me back then it was such a huge thing. I remember telling my parents about it and they didn't really understand it because with like Asian families, like the whole idea of online income, it's not too really well understood, and I feel like my parents kind of downplayed it. But I remember we spoke about it a bit more and it came around to, okay Steve, that's cool, you wanna edit and stuff, what's your goals with this? I was bold, like I was like, okay, if I make like £5,000 by the time I'm 18 for like 2-3 years of a new business, £5,000 ain't bad, right? Bro, my sister laughed at me. You know those TikToks where they spit out water laughing in that challenge? Like that's the type of laugh that she made. Like she's like bro, imagine how demoralizing that is. The people that you hold so close to you, the people that genuinely are supposed to like bring you up and make you feel on top of the world, they were the very people that when you have a goal to strive for, they can't even imagine you hitting it. Bro, fast forward to today and that £5,000, I make that in like 2-3 weeks. So for me, I charged like $750 a video. I can make 5,000 in like 7 or 8 videos. And this isn't me like bragging or anything, but I'm saying it because I want you to understand that there's so much potential in editing, you won't even be able to see it. Like my family weren't able to see the potential that editing had. Well, I couldn't imagine making 5,000 in a couple of weeks at 18 years old. And of course there's going to be 1 or 2 of you that are already making that, or like you're making so much more. Okay, fair enough, you can stop watching this video if you're already making like 9, 10, 11k a month. But honestly, if you're like just starting out, I think the first thing you need to understand is you have a lot more potential with the skills that you have. Like sure, you're doing a couple of videos here and there for creators, like you're getting like 100 to 200, 250 bucks, but just imagine you were able to scale that up. So you'd be working at like the same desk and everything, but your business has grown. So the amount of time you're spending is the same, but your income's like doubled, tripled. You'd be stupid to not at least try that, right? Because I think the first thing that you need to do when you're trying to go from freelance to like a full-time income, not exactly full-time hours, but the income of someone that's working full-time, a huge part of it is just understanding that, yeah, I need to put some effort in to grow this business. And that's what you editing essentially is. Sure, it started as a hobby, but after a while it becomes a business. Like you are genuinely dealing with like thousands of dollars a month. Like you're a business bro. Business bro sounds kind of cool. I'm a business bro. That feeling of like making a decent amount of money, it's such a confidence inducing thing, especially at such a young age. So I think that goal of like growing your editing business is genuinely something that you'd benefit from, not only like in a monetary sense, but just like that life satisfaction, that confidence that comes about with it. And the reason I told you all of that is because I know you probably have this limiting belief where you think you're too young, or like you're not old enough to be making a decent amount of money. This is something that with the editors that I coach, especially the younger ones that are around 16, 15, when I tell them that, bro, you could be charging like 300, 400, 500 for a video right now, like your work is good enough for that. Guess the one thing that they always say, like without fail, they say this one thing: I'm only 15, so I can't charge that high. Are you genuinely trying to tell me that you think that just because you're 15, like you are 15, therefore not allowed to make money? Like that's not how it works. That's the beautiful thing about editing. It's not about your physical capacity. It's not about like your age. It's not about any of that. It's, can you provide results? I understand like, oh, there's all these like YouTube gurus that are like, how to make 10k a month, 5 easy ways. Like I'm not even trying to say it like that, but bro, I had my first 10k month at 17 years old, and the reason I'm passing this knowledge on to you is because literally the mindset was what was holding me back. Someone else taught me that, and within 2 months my income exploded. So I really hope you take that on board and understand that you thinking that your age has anything to do with your income, you'd be stupid to think that. Another thing that I always hear is like, oh, I can't make a decent amount because I'm from India and or like Bangladesh, so I'm Bangladesh. If you can give like a good video, you'll be paid the same amount as like someone from like fucking Dubai, bro, someone from the UK. Like you make the same amount, you can ask for the exact same thing. But what happens when you give yourself these thoughts. When you say, oh, I'm from Pakistan, so I can't charge 400 a video because everyone here is like living on 400 a month. Like that's a monthly income here. Bro, you're going to charge like 100 after that, right? If you think that you can't charge 400, if you think you don't deserve 400, you're literally shooting yourself in the foot. Like I'm telling you that you are worth more. Like right now you're probably thinking like, no Malice, like you don't understand, like you're from the UK, Malice, like you don't get it. I'm on your side. Like you do understand that, right? The editing opens the door of like huge income, okay, work from home, like someone open your door, the universe opens the door, right? And you know what you're doing? You're shutting that shit closed by saying, no, I'm from India, I don't want that. No, I'm only 17. Like, bro, you're an idiot. The door's been opened. Don't be a dumbass and close it yourself. So just like get that shitty limiting mindset out. Like I wouldn't have spent this long of like a YouTube video if I didn't think it would genuinely be like 10 out of 10 advice and it would genuinely like value you. I remember when I started taking editing a little more seriously. So I was making like, I think 2,000 a month at the time. Yeah, that's nice. But I remember when I first started like pumping out videos, when I started really spending time looking for clients, I remember how against it my parents were. You're probably in a similar situation, right? Like they're telling you, okay, keep it as like a side income, keep it as a side job, but get a proper job, get like your proper education, and like don't completely drop out of education to do editing like I did. But your parents probably want you to balance it, right? What I could do right now is just like shit on that whole mindset where it's like, oh, our parents are wrong. Like we could build up so much resentment for our parents, right? Like they don't want us to follow our dreams. But I think what would be a lot more valuable to us, what would be a lot healthier for us to think about it as, we need to understand that what they're saying to us, it's genuinely out of love. When they see you just sitting at your PC all day, they genuinely see their son's life like slowly deteriorating. Like I was on Fortnite for literally like 8 hours a day, and that's what it was, right? My life was deteriorating. So I'm glad that they got me away from that. But when it came to editing, it's such a different thing where, okay, they didn't understand it, so that's why they came about it in the same approach of, Sayeef, what are you doing? Like get off, like you're on it all day. But when they were able to understand that it's no longer me just wasting my days on Fortnite, it's no longer me just wasting my time, it's me building a business, me bringing income in, not only that, but quite a large income. Once they understand that, they were very much a lot more supportive and stuff. So what I really recommend is you need to be able to show that you are able to secure yourself and you're able to take this editing thing a little more seriously. It feels a lot more collaborative when you are able to show your parents and they're finally able to understand and get on your side. Like I literally got rejected at KFC, I remember, and I felt as though my life was falling apart. It hurt my ego so much that I never applied for a job again. But looking back at it, what I realized is if I had that job at KFC, if I was able to get that proper job like my parents wanted me to, well, you wouldn't be watching something like this right now. The only reason I'm able to influence so many of you guys is I was able to put in the time, like the genuine focus into one thing for so long that I was able to experience what it's like and what you need to do well. Because to do well as an editor, sure, everyone's doing it as like a hobby right now, like you started as a hobby, but unless you kind of dial in all your focus into that, you're not going to do that well. You're just going to do like the rest of the 99%. We're just doing it as a hobby, we make like 1,000 a month and all is well. But if you really want to step this shit up, which you can, the harsh truth is it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to be here telling you it's like super easy and stuff, but you're going to need to kind of put in that work. So keeping editing as a commitment, that mindset you have when you say it is my job, is so much different to when you say it's a hobby. So when you say it's a job, you generally start striving for that extra income, when you start striving to work with better creators. So it's not only that you love what you do, but you're making a good amount of money from it. Another thing is starting an agency, bro. Don't be a dumbass that starts an agency, please. Like when you start an agency, what happens is it takes your focus away from editing. So instead of becoming the best editor or the best agency owner, what happens is you become rubbish at both. Like you're just average at both. Honestly, being average in anything, it's not gonna bring you about a decent amount of income. You really reap the rewards when you're able to pick one thing. So for me, it was editing. For you, it probably is as well. And you get rid of everything else as much as you can, and you put all your efforts into that. That's when you reap the rewards of your efforts. Because imagine everyone around you right now, like all your friends, all the people that you interact with in school, or maybe the people that you went to school with, the concept of like 10,000, like we joke about like, oh, making like 9k or 700 a video, like we just talk about it like whatever. That's not normal money for most people your age. You literally have an opportunity where you're able to get like 10 years above everyone else. Like you're literally talking about these huge amounts of money that people your age couldn't even fathom. So when you do put in your effort into editing, literally just elevating your career, what happens is, this is gonna sound weird, but like close your eyes, like genuinely close your eyes and just imagine this. Like you've worked so hard on your editing business, you're working with the creators that you want. You've just finished a video, so you've just finished for this huge channel. It's like a 5 million subscriber channel. You've just been paid, and the next day you've gone out with your mates. It's only about 4 of you, and you go to eat at this like chicken and chip shop. Nothing too fancy, but when it comes down to paying, your friends are all checking their bank accounts. And in that time, you're able to confidently just like pull out your card and let boss man know, bro, I got it. Like, and you just tap your card and everyone's thanking you. And you all sit down, you're smiling, you're laughing, and now you're known as such a generous guy. So you putting in that work, it led to that moment. But now you're able to, without even thinking, just see smiles on people's faces. I don't know about you, but for me, being able to see my people happy is genuinely such a deep feeling of motivation and happiness for me. Having that understanding that, yeah, when I focus on my business, when I focus on editing, I'm able to have these beautiful moments of glee, of happiness around me. That's something that's truly motivating for me.